What?
This lady came all the way from Queens?
Yeah.
Where in Queens?
Where in Queens?
Bayside.
Bayside, Queens.
My brother went to Cardoza.
She's been doing comedy for quite some time.
My cousin taught
Please welcome Helene Weiss.
My maiden name was Weiss.
Weiss.
We'll probably relate. I call this the past my bedtime theater. It's so late, I'm falling asleep. Not because of the entertainment, it's just past my bedtime. Talk amongst yourselves, Astoria. So you're Greek and your passing is Greek, right? Greek men have these names: Jimmy, George, Stavros or Steve.
All my cousins.
And Nico.
Andrea is me.
And Telly Savalas.
Yes, that's my fourth cousin through marriage. Gus.
Really?
My grandfather.
Then you know Christabel Savalas. She's a comedian friend of mine. Christabel is Telly's cousin. She lives in San Francisco. I could name drop Gladys, Telly Savalas, you name it.
The Capsalis.
But I have jokes about Gladys that I tell on her stage right in front of her, and I'll tell you what they are. The first time I went back to Gladys from 1991 all the way to like 2000 and let's say 12. So I go to Gladys, and you can't go to Gladys unless you know somebody. So I called her up. I said, "You remember me? I used to go to Hamburger Harry's all the time." The truth is, I might have been there once in 1991, whatever. But I made it sound like I was there every week. "Gladys, I'm your old friend." So she let me up. First thing she said is, "You need a new bra." So I bought 10 new bras. So then she said, "Just take them all off. Get an operation. Just, what do they call that? A reduction." Then she said, change your hair. Change your hair. Use my shampoo. It's $38. I use $1 Suave shampoo. She said, no. And the way you dry your hair, you have to do this with a towel. So she showed me that. And every week when I'd get up, she'd say something else. Then she said, you have to wear this, you have to wear a dress, you have to wear high heels, you have to wear stockings. And then one day, it's a little bit what Evan said, I wore a denim shirt that I had, one of those denim shirts, but it was missing a button and I never ever sew it on, even though I have a bag of my mother's buttons. I never sewed it on. I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give Gladys the shirt off my back because that's what she wears, denim shirts.
She was wearing that one.
She always wears it. So I said, Gladys, I'm going to give you the shirt off my back. I figured if I dress like Gladys, she won't put me down because I'm dressed just like her. Then we have a friend, George. She said, George, get those things taken off of over here. And then she said...
Sauce, right?
Yeah, he's my coach. So she said, get these taken off and always wear blue. You have to always wear blue. So we have a joke that he always wears blue. So everybody, from Jocelyn Chia to everyone, she always tells everyone what to wear. So for you to stand there and talk about her taking off your shirt, that's very humorous. She's married to Bob. She's very happily married. But it's just funny. No, but as far as young boys, it is true. I call these boys who sit over there in that corner Gladys's boys. So you're onto something. And once I emceed and I got two of her boys mixed up, so I have a joke about that she never let me MC again because I got, you know, those two that are always there. Anyway, so how many minutes? He gave like 47 minutes to that guy.
Whatever you want to do. What do you...
No, Debbie has to go back to the Bronx, so I can't stay on too long.
Jan and Debbie do.
I want to try something that Debbie never heard since she hears my stuff all the time. I'm going to do something you never heard. You ever hear my Quaalude story, Debbie? About when I first was teaching? I'll tell you. When I first started teaching, let's go back to 1971. I was graduating college. And they had hippie parties then. So I was invited to a hippie party, and they passed around Quaaludes, the drug that Bill Cosby uses. So they said, try this. It'll make your fingers tingly. I didn't want to take the Quaalude because I knew I was going to substitute teach for the first time right out of college. So I opened up my Midol jar, which is medicine women take for cramps, and I put it on top of the cotton ball.
Of course.
And I wanted to remember it was there so I wouldn't get it mixed up. But then the people at the party would think I'm cool and I took the Quaalude, but I didn't. So fast forward to the next morning, I go to the school where I was going to substitute teach, And it was like another world to me. It was first grade, but it was like a little environment of being, I said, I feel like I'm at 125th in Lexington. Oh, I am at 125th in Lexington. And this little boy comes in, first grade, goes, hey, T-Bird, what up, slap me 5. And they were ignoring me. This boy was breaking the sharpener. I could not control this first grade. Now, why would they call somebody to make $100 a day who just finished college the day before? Because nobody else would substitute teach in that school. So after lunch, I survived till lunch. After lunch, I had cramps. Oddly enough, the next day, cramps. So I opened my Midol jar, I take, and 20 minutes later, my fingers are tingly. Oh my God, I took the Quaalude instead of the Midol. And all of a sudden, nothing was bothering me. The boy who was breaking the sharpener, we have a future engineer in the class. And the books were stacked up because in those days they had books. And the books were stacked up because it was the end of the year. And I was bouncing into the piles of books like a human pinball machine. And this is a true story. And then, because I couldn't talk by then, I said to this one little girl who was like a goody two-shoes, she could talk, she could read. She was the only girl in the whole class by the end of the first grade could read. So I said, here, read Dr. Seuss. So she goes, Sam I am. And I go, she's reading like a teacher to the class. And she said, shut up, I'm trying to read. So usually a teacher would send the kids one by one to the closet, get your coat, do the copy the homework off the wall. I just said, let's get out of here at 2:30. And I never got called from that school again. Could you imagine if that was today? I mean, I'm lucky I got through teaching and I got a retirement, but that really did happen. That's why I never do that bit, Debbie. So I wanted to talk to you about another thing. I used to go to Bally's in Little Neck, very crowded gym. And there was a lady who I think lived in the gym. She was an Asian woman, and I think she lived there, and I'll tell you why. She walked around the women's locker room, like naked, and she blew her hair. She turned the dryer, and she blew her hair in the hand dryer, blew her hair. And I know that she was living in one of the lockers. She slept in one of the lockers. She either slept standing up like this, or she crunched up and slept in the half locker, but she lived there. And her social life was in the steam room. That's where she got to talk to people and be sociable. And she lived in the gym. And the funny thing is, even though I'm making fun of her, guess how I dry my hair now? I go to the railroad every day, my hair's wet, and I turn the dryer and I do my hair that way with that power dryer. She lived in the gym. Asian woman. So another thing that happened was on the corner of 33rd and 8th Avenue, there was a man, he laid in the street and he lived there. He lived there in the street. I've seen him around. I call him Bob. So Bob is sunbathing. People are rushing with their 20 precious minutes to go on their break to the bank, run their errands, get their lunch, and they go back to their cubicle. And there's Bob sunbathing. People are giving him cigars, milkshakes. He's laying there. And what kills me is I've seen him in Penn Station. He's rummaging through the garbage for food. I am on a special diet. I take 14 different pills. Some are vitamins and the rest are prescriptions. Bob can eat whatever he wants. His heart's fine. And not only do I take 14 pills, I have 13 doctors if you count my vet. And there's Bob, living the life. And then we take public speaking, we take comedy classes, we take group therapy to have the courage to speak. Not Bob, he goes in the subway, hello ladies and gentlemen, if you have a dime, a quarter, you get the point that Bob's got it made, right? And then right next to 33rd and 8th, there's a fancy building where these dogs live. You know, dogs walk by people and they have fancy, like, costumes, I was gonna say, like jackets and boots. And I got this from my father. He used to see a dog and he'd go, "What's the matter, boy? What's the matter?" So I say that to this dog, but then I get carried away. I go down into the subway, I get into the E train, doors close, and I see this man sitting there. I go, "What's the matter, Mr. Professor, reading your Scientific American? What's the matter?" And then I don't stop there. I turn around. There's a Hasidic Jew there. "What's the matter? You want to wear a flannel shirt and jeans that are folded, with the cuffs? You got the beard. You want to be living it. You live in Brooklyn. You want to be a millennial. What's the matter?" And the last one is about. Who said they were a grammar fanatic? You, Evan?
No, definitely not.
Jim did a joke about, he said phonetic with an F.
Yes. Maybe it was a different mic, but I'm a fanatic person about spelling and punctuation, but and not just so much that, but the way they make announcements in the subway. So if you take the F train, they say Bryant Park, Hunter College. That's not how you say it. You say Hunter College. And that doesn't bother anyone else, but it drives me crazy. I mean, we used to have this guy in the subway years ago. He'd say, "Dirty, dirty, dirt. Hey, car 4, get your fucking ass out of the door. Have a good day." Now they pay this lady from Arizona. It's a recording. She goes, "Bryant Park, 42nd Street." And in Queens, we have one called Newtown. It's a stop, Newtown. And she says, "Newton, Grand Avenue, Newton." That's not the name of the high school. It's Newtown. He's shaking his head. He knows. And that doesn't bother anyone. And this is, you're paying your taxpayers' dollars and your MetroCard money for this lady to pronounce all those wrong. Well, thank you very much. Now Debbie saw my other stuff.
Excellent.
Thank you. I don't know about that.
We're probably related.
Yeah.